We're back for another episode of Married at First Sight. This is season 18, episode 15. It's about to go down in Northbrook, Illinois, everybody. Hit the like and subscribe button as the intro plays. For those of you who don't know, if you're new here, and welcome, I don't go through every single detail. I just go through highlights of each episode that stood out to me. And I might go through some details, but bear with me. So the episode starts off with the ladies in the kitchen. Michelle is feeling like nobody is listening to me. Everybody's dismissing me, my feelings. And the ladies are like, look, girl, we get it. We understand what you're going through. He's a douchebag for, doing what he does. And, MM is thinking, hey, I know douchebags. And, yeah, at least he was trying. But I'm going to ride with you because I'm a girl's girl. So then, Michelle's like, they're just dismissing me. They're making me the bad guy. I'm the bad guy. And so we see David and Alan outside, like, throwing putts or whatever. Or playing, whatever they're playing, one of those outside games. And Alan's like, look, man, I get it. I mean, I understand. Do you, Alan? Will you, Alan? So we see Thomas getting ready for bed. And, he has his do-rag on. He's looking all swagged out with his do-rag. And he says, look, I'm too old for this drama. Because, Thomas is 42. So he can't deal with this drama.
That's it. Good night, everybody. I can't go no more.
So then the next morning we see Carla and Juan having a product placement moment. Carla says, oh, I felt safe sleeping here, although it's not even my home. And then Juan pulls out his phone. Hey, this ADT app, you could cut off the alarm from anywhere in the house. All right. So then this is where it starts. This is where the shift happens once again for Michelle. It's when she realizes her new career path as a private eyes are watching you. They see your every move. She's once again given David an opportunity to fess up.
Pretty clever, but you missed one detail.
But David is sticking to his story. He's sticking to his story. And meanwhile, all the other people are in the living room. Thomas is asleep on Camille. And it seems as though MM slept on the couch. She didn't have a room. Or maybe they're just out there chilling. And it's cool in the house. So then, Michelle gets with the black girls, Camille and MM, to share her feelings about what she thinks is really going on.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now.
I really think it's David and Madison. What? They're like, what? So then we see Madison and Alan off to an excursion. They're going off to indoor go-karting. And as well as Carla and Juan, they go do pottery. And something actually Juan planned. Can y'all believe that, everybody? Juan planned it. But so back to Alan and Madison. One more time, Madison emasculates Alan. Oh, I'm going to kick your ass because, I'm a softballer, I'm a weightlifter, I'm an athlete. I live in the city of big shoulders, although I'm not from this city. Alan, I'm gonna kick your ass.
I was a poor excuse for a woman.
And he just wants to, he's asking once again, where do you see us? Blah, 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 blah. Nowhere, Alan, but hey, keep trying to win over my love. Madison and her recruiter, her fake recruiter act. She's always on it. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years, Alan? Not with me, because I'm going to be with David. So then later on, David and Madison are in the kitchen, and guess what? Madison is having a drink. Shocking. Madison having a drink. She and David kind of toast. So then we see Camille and Thomas in the hot tub.
Should I get in the hot tub? Yeah. Will it make me sweat? Yeah. Should I get in the hot tub? Yeah. Will it make me wet? Yeah. Well.
Thomas says, well, do you see yourself having kids? Are you ready for kids? Well, I see kids, I think I'm ready for kids. I'm ready in like two-ish years. Well, that means you're not ready, Camille. You're not ready for kids. So then she's back on her Columbo. Michelle's back on her Columbo. Actually, Alan pulled Michelle outside and basically said, I get it. I understand. I understand how you feel. And so she's trying to nudge Alan into saying something to see where his mind was. And he's like, where I know where Madison and I are at. We're in a good place. Oh, poor Alan. My heart sinks for you. It's like he can't read a room, or can he? So then production gets them together for a messy game. A messy game. I forgot what it's called. Married at something. But basically, it's a game that if it were on Married to Medicine, all hell would break loose. But these are civil people. So they're not doctors, but they're civil. So they're going around the room asking questions. And guess who's the host? MM and Camille. And MM is the main host because she doesn't have her soon-to-be ex with her. She is uncoupled. So one of the questions was, who do you see cheating on their spouse? And all signs point to David. And Michelle says, well, David, because he did. Ha ha ha. Then they said, who would have a sex orgy? They said Carla. Michelle said Carla because she's sexual and vulgar. Excuse me? Vulgar? And Carla agreed. I was like, oh, excuse me. You're not going to call me vulgar. And tuned, maybe, but not vulgar. But Carla just let that ride. And so then we see they ask another question. Oh, and Dumb Thomas says, I would probably be caught cheating. And everybody's like, what? Camille especially. Well, I mean, I'm not going to cheat. I'm a bad liar. So that's why I wouldn't get caught. I would get caught. And you should have just set that one out, Thomas. What do you know? Madison is hitting that bottle once again. This time her drink of choice is Jägermeister. And even Juan voted for David. So then, Michelle gets up because she's had enough. I'm tired of this. She goes into the kitchen and Alan follows her. And here we are again. She's not saying the name. She's not naming them.
Name them.
Well, what
Name
you
'em.
did was ridiculous.
Name them.
Not having.
Name 'em.
Well, be quiet. So
Name
let me
'em.
talk, Jesus.
But she's alluding to it. She's trying to plant a seed into Alan's dense head. He's like, well, I mean, I know. I mean, could it be? Oh, he starts his wheels and the wheels start churning in his head. Oh my God, he's awake now. So then we see Michelle meeting up with Madison. And she asked him, like, was that text? Ask her, was that text meant for you?
I'm trying to figure out what happened.
It shouldn't be. With her little nervous laughter. It shouldn't be. But Madison seemed flattered, as the lady who was on the after show said. She didn't seem like, oh hell no, he didn't, that wasn't for me. So she was like, oh, maybe it was. I don't know. Could it have been? I mean, you guys hang out. But so then she goes back talking to the black girls again. And then we see Madison going to, cover her bases, going to check in to see what does Alan know anything? So she goes and checks in on him, and he's like, yeah, I need time to myself. I want to go sit down. I need time to myself. Oh, okay. So she walks out with her bad weave. So then we see Juancho and Carla making the best of a situation, which none of the other people are doing. They're making the best because they know neither one of us are attracted to each other. Although people seem to think Carla really wants Juancho. Carla was just down for whatever, but she knows they're like a brother and sister situation. So Juancho's out there playing his guitar and freestyling, poorly, might I add, and Carla's vibing. Carla's that girl, everybody. People hate on Carla for her spiritualism and whatever, and being flighty and thinking, money is energy, which it is. But Carla's that girl. So then we get back to, once again, Michelle coming back at David, giving him another chance to fess up. Look, Michelle, I'm a great man from a great family. I made a mistake.
Who would sit up and just lie?
But I don't believe you. How are we supposed to move forward? Michelle, you're not moving forward with David. You weren't ever intending on moving forward with David, so get out of here with that mess. But David, just tell the truth. Just tell the whole truth. But David is like, look, this is my story. I'm going to stick to it. I'm a good man. Believe what you want to believe, Michelle. Believe what you want to believe. So then Michelle goes back to Madison once again. And Madison's like, we text or whatever, but, I can show you my phone. She's texted before about the gym. Keep that in mind, everybody. But then she comes back with her phone. They go through her phone and no text messages from David. So, what does that say? She deleted the messages. You deleted the messages, Madison. You dirty dog. You dirty rotten dog.
Trash box.
So then a producer that looks like Christian Siriano walks in. If you know, you know. Could this all be true? Is there any truth to that? And Madison is off camera. I don't know.
I like that. I don't know. That's nice.
You don't know. What kind of answer was that? So then we see a scene at 10:27 p.m. Madison goes to David's room. He's coming out like, man, what do you want, Madison? You waking me up. David, who stays up all night till 2 to 3 in the morning and sleep at 10:27. I guess he's really taking this retreat seriously. So then they go into a room and Madison starts talking all coy. Look, this is where I call BS on the whole operation. Production set this up for her. They helped Madison carve this story so she would not be the bad guy. Because production obviously wants Michelle to be the villain of the season. Production has had it in for Michelle because she has gotten the worst edit. Now, mind you, the camera can only shoot what the camera sees. So Michelle gave them enough to be the bad guy. So she was probably the bad guy talking to production like, I don't like this. Like Alyssa from that season. I'm a good person. Production set this up for Madison and David. So they go into this room and they start playing coy like they've never talked about this before. Like they don't have any real true connection. Like, oh, this all has started. Everything that started has made me realize that I really do have a thing for you, David. I mean, I feel like I love our gym dates. She said gym dates. And he said, it made my day to see you at the gym. I have a connection, but we owe it to Alan and Michelle to tell them the truth. This is some BS, everybody. So then now that Alan's wheels are churning in his head, David comes in and says, hey, I need to speak to you, buddy. And he was like, oh, shit. He slapped his spoon down and he went outside with David. And instantly David was like, well, I have a connection with Madison. F you, F her, F everybody. I gave her outs. Every time. I gave her outs. I told her, if you ever don't want to be with me, I give you an out. Man, this sucks for me. It's effed up, man. It's effed up. David, shut up. It's not effed up because you get the girl at the end. You get the girl with the broad shoulders and the long weave and you get her. Alan doesn't. So then Alan comes in the house kicking in the door. And so then he goes outside and MM chases him outside like, Alan, baby, Alan. Because you know what? One thing a black girl's going to do is be a nurturer. Despite the manosphere, the red pillars, a black girl is always going to nurture and take care of everybody. So anyhow, Wancho meets them outside and they're like, look, man, this is bad time, but things get better, man. They get better. So Alan comes back in, kicking in cabinets, slamming doors in the kitchen. And, Madison's like, does he want to talk? Bam! I guess he didn't want to talk. So then Alan gets in an Uber because clearly he can't drive and he wasn't going to because that's a long drive, everybody. That's like a 45-minute drive and no traffic. In traffic, that's an hour and a half drive. But so Alan gets in his Uber and leaves. And here comes Michelle again to David. What? You have something to say? I lied, Michelle. I lied, okay? What'd you lie about? I lie about everything. What's everything? The text messages. There was no Tiffany. They were for Madison. Okay. Then the episode was over. Michelle felt vindicated. She felt validated, as she kept saying on the after show. And she also said that when the text messages were open, she typed in David's name, and instantly text messages came up that Madison had been talking about David to her friends. And Madison said, "What, you don't talk shit about me?" She said, "I never had to." Anyhow, that was it. Drop into the comments. Who's the real bad guy? Who's the villain of this episode? Is it Michelle? Is it David? Is it Madison? Or is it Ikechi, who wasn't even on the episode? My vote is for Ikechi. Like and subscribe.